For over 2,000 years, the Vatican has stood as one of the world's most powerful and secretive institutions. Behind its magnificent walls lie not just priceless art and sacred texts, but also some of history's most controversial secrets. Today, we're diving into the documented scandals, cover-ups, and shocking revelations that have emerged from the Holy See. Welcome to Nightmare Narratives, where true history bleeds into horror and the strangest legends might just be real. If you like the eerie, the unexplained, and the downright disturbing, hit like and don't forget to subscribe. Some stories are too dark to forget. But before we begin, it's important to note that we'll be focusing on historically documented events and official investigations, not conspiracy theories. The real history is dramatic enough on its own. Let's start with perhaps the Vatican's most famous secret, the Vatican Secret Archives, now called the Vatican Apostolic Archives. For centuries, these 53 miles of shelving have housed documents that the Church has kept from public view. What's actually in there? Medieval trial records, correspondence with world leaders, documents about the Crusades, records of the Spanish Inquisition files on Galileo's trial. In 2019, Pope Francis opened files related to Pope Pius XII and World War II, revealing controversial decisions during the Holocaust. While some praised Pius XII's behind-the-scenes efforts to save Jews, critics argue the Church could have done more to publicly oppose Nazi persecution. The archives also contain the complete records of the Spanish Inquisition, documents detailing torture methods, forced conversions, and executions that the Church authorized for centuries. In 1982, one of the Vatican's darkest financial scandals came to light when Roberto Calvi, known as God's banker, was found hanging under London's Blackfriars Bridge. The Vatican connection. Calvi was chairman of Banco Ambrosiano, which had deep ties to the Vatican Bank. When the bank collapsed, it left behind $1.4 billion in debt and exposed a web of money laundering, connections to the mafia, and secret financial dealings. Key players: Archbishop Paul Marcinkus, head of the Vatican Bank Roberto Calvi, the banker found dead Michele Sindona, another Vatican-connected banker, who died under suspicious circumstances. The Vatican eventually paid $244 million to Banco Ambrosiano's creditors, but never admitted wrongdoing. Archbishop Marcinkus was granted immunity and never faced trial, remaining protected within Vatican walls until his death. Perhaps no scandal has rocked the Catholic Church more than the systematic cover-up of clergy sexual abuse that came to light in the early 2000s. The Boston Globe investigation, 2002, the Spotlight team revealed that Cardinal Bernard Law and other church officials had systematically moved predatory priests from parish to parish, rather than reporting them to authorities. Global scale. Over 15,000 victims have come forward. Worldwide, settlements have cost the Church over $3 billion. Investigations revealed cover-ups in Ireland, Australia, Germany, and dozens of other countries' Vatican response. Internal documents showed that the Vatican's Congregation for the Doctrine of the Faith, once led by future Pope Benedict XVI, instructed bishops to handle abuse cases internally and maintain secrecy. Pope Francis has implemented new policies, but survivors groups argue the changes don't go far enough. For centuries, rumours persisted about Pope Joan, allegedly a woman who disguised herself as a man and became Pope in the 9th century. While historians generally dismiss this as legend, the Vatican's reaction to the story reveals their sensitivity to challenges to papal authority. The legend. According to medieval accounts, Joan ruled as Pope for over 2 years before being discovered when she gave birth during a papal procession. Vatican response: the Church vehemently denied these accounts. and removed references to Joan from official histories. Some historians suggest the legend arose from contemporary criticism of papal corruption and moral failures. Whether real or mythical, the Pope Joan story highlights how the Vatican has historically suppressed narratives that challenge its authority. After World War II, the Vatican faced accusations of helping Nazi war criminals escape to South America through networks known as rat lines. Documented cases: Adolf Eichmann, architect of the Holocaust Klaus Barbie, the Butcher of Leon, Franz Stangl, Treblinka, Commandant Vatican involvement. Bishop Alois Hudal and other Vatican officials issued false Red Cross passports and provided safe passage. While the Vatican claims these were humanitarian efforts to help refugees, critics argue church officials knowingly aided war criminals. Recently released documents show Vatican knowledge of these escape routes, though the full extent of official church involvement remains debated. In recent decades, two major document leaks have exposed Vatican financial irregularities and internal power struggles. VatiLeaks Turin, 2012. Pope Benedict XV's butler leaked confidential documents revealing corruption, infighting, and financial mismanagement. The leaks contributed to Benedict's shocking resignation in 2013. VatiLeaks, 2015. New leaks under Pope Francis expose continued financial scandals, including inflated contracts for Vatican renovations, luxury spending by church officials, resistance to Francis's reform efforts. Both scandals revealed that despite promises of transparency, the Vatican continues to struggle with internal corruption and secrecy. The Vatican Library contains numerous early Christian texts that were excluded from the official Bible, raising questions about which versions of Christianity's story have been suppressed. Notable excluded texts: the Gospel of Thomas, the Gospel of Mary Magdalene, the Gospel of Judas, various Gnostic texts. While the Church argues these texts were excluded for theological reasons, some scholars suggest political motivations, particularly the exclusion of texts that portrayed women, especially Mary Magdalene, as having greater authority in early Christianity. The Vatican has slowly made some of these texts available to researchers, but many remain restricted. The Vatican's secret history reveals an institution that, like many powerful organizations throughout history, has sometimes prioritized its own survival and authority over transparency and accountability. From financial scandals to cover-ups, from suppressed histories to modern corruption, these revelations don't necessarily invalidate Catholic faith, but they do humanize an institution that claims divine authority. Key takeaways: power without transparency breeds corruption. Even religious institutions are susceptible to human failings. Historical truth often emerges despite attempts at suppression. Reform requires both internal change and external pressure. As Pope Francis continues his reform efforts, the question remains: can an institution built on centuries of secrecy truly embrace transparency? Only time will tell. What do you think? Are there other Vatican controversies we should investigate? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into hidden history.